Hello, I'm Emily Bowman, and I'm here to share with you a little bit about what is behind the music for the Colorado Music Festival's performances on July 21st and 22nd. This concert features the beloved Second Symphony by Sibelius and the Sanson Introduction and Rondo Capriccioso. Boulder has heard these before, and it'll be exciting to hear them again in the context of who's bringing them. But I'd like to spend my time talking with you about what is new to Boulder, or what may be new to Boulder. New to Boulder, Ryan Bancroft. As it says here on the Colorado Music Festival website, a conductor catapulted onto the world's stage. Ryan Bancroft grew up in LA and first came to international attention in 2018 when he won both the first prize and the audience favorite prize at the prestigious Malco competition for young conductors in Copenhagen. The next year, he was appointed principal conductor of the BBC National Orchestra of Wales. In 2021, he became artist in association at the Tapiola Sinfonietta in Finland. And that's exciting, I think, to see what Ryan from his Finnish experience will bring to the Sibelius in Boulder. But I'm here to talk about the other things, really. The new things. This is the Intermusica website, and I'm going to encourage everyone to check this out. What I love about this website is you can go to see the performances of the competition. This is one of my favorites here on the right, Brahms at the final. So enjoy this. Bancroft, he studied trumpet at the California Institute of the Arts alongside studies in harp and cello and flute and Ghanaian music and dance. He went on to study conducting at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. It's Father's Day as I record this, so I wanted to mention that Bancroft's father instilled a love of classical music in him, and it was in response to his father's death when he was in school that he got people together, an orchestra together and a choir together, and performed Mozart's Requiem in honor of his father. That's the first experience conducting. I just find that deeply beautiful, and Bancroft will also be conducting an entire program of Mozart's works for Colorado Music Festival on Sunday the 24th. It's a different concert, but I just thought I'd mention it. Maybe I'll see you there. Now, the first piece on the concert that we will hear on the 21st and 22nd is by Samuel Coleridge Taylor. He had an English mother and a Sierra Leone Creole father, and he gained considerable respect in England during his very short life of 37 years with early support by Edvard Elgar. He was born in Holborn in 1875, and in this very short life, he once met Theodore Roosevelt at the White House. So his work had a large scope, even in the short time that he was alive. Now, he started playing violin at the age of 6. He was a progressive writer for his time, and his compositions wove together Western classical music and the instrumentation of classical music orchestras with the traditional African sounds. The piece we will hear was commissioned, Solemn Prelude was commissioned originally in 1899 by the Three Choirs Festival, and it received its first performance that year conducted by the composer. While the piano reduction of this remained, the full score was never published and was considered lost. Investigations recently revealed that the original manuscript was housed in the British Library, and a new edition of the work based on this manuscript was created especially for the 2021 Three Choirs Festival revival of the work. And I imagine this is the work we will be hearing in Colorado I'm looking forward to that. Now, next on the program is Concerto Number 2 for violin by Florence Price. Florence Price was the first African-American female composer to have a major symphonic work performed by a major American orchestra. And that was the Chicago Symphony. Here's a picture of her as a young woman when she was in Little Rock, Arkansas. She was born Florence Beatrice Smith in 1887 in Little Rock and was a daughter of a pianist and a dentist. She studied piano with her mother and went on to the New England Conservatory at the age of 16, one of the few music schools accepting blacks. At 19, she graduated with honors and a double degree, organ performance and piano pedagogy. She returned to Little Rock, married attorney Thomas Price, and had children, 2 daughters. At this time in the South, the Jim Crow laws, anti-black laws were being passed, and that was enforcing segregation that resulted in an escalation of terrorism against black people. So the Price family decided to move, and they moved to Chicago in 1927, part of the exodus from Little Rock, and they were among 6 million other black Americans who left the South for the North in what was known as the Great Migration. 2 years after moving to Chicago, the market crash and ensuing Great Depression caused her husband to lose his job. Stress, finances, it took a toll on the marriage, and in 1931, Florence filed for divorce. She also broke her foot that year, so there's 2 big changes. She had to stay home a lot, and that gave her the gift, she called it, of time to write music. Her first breakthrough came in 1932 when Price's Symphony in E minor won the Chicago Wanamaker Music Contest. And along with the $500 prize for that came a performance. And on June 15, 1933, conductor Frederick Stock debuted Price's Symphony No. 1 in E minor with the Chicago Symphony. Later, she would write songs for contralto Marian Anderson, who sang Price's arrangement of My Soul's Been Anchored in the Lord at the historic 1939 Lincoln Memorial Concert in Washington, D.C. This concert was held on Easter Sunday, and Marian Anderson was black, so she wasn't allowed to perform in the Constitutional Hall that was originally scheduled for this event, as D.C. was segregated and only white performers could appear there. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt stepped in and created this opportunity for an outdoor concert, and this was broadcast nationwide on the radio, and this may be the first time many people heard of Florence Price's music. She had support from Marian Anderson and other musicians at the time, but she didn't have a lot of momentum after this, and in 1943, seeking to get her music more widely performed, she wrote to Sergei Koussevitzky, the famous conductor of the Boston Symphony Orchestra. And here's a strong voice she has. To begin with, I have 2 handicaps, those of sex and race. I am a woman, and I have some Negro blood in my veins. Knowing the worst, I would like to be judged on merit alone. So this is the 1943 letter to Koussevitzky. Koussevitzky did not program Price's music. Her career slowed. This violin concerto that you will hear today, or in the July 21st and 22nd concert, was completed in 1952, and this was the year before her sudden death at the age of 66. The manuscript was never published, and it was considered lost after 1975 when her daughters died. But in 2009, this concerto, along with other works by Price, were discovered in an abandoned home that Price once owned south of Chicago. It's an amazing story. So as you listen, you may hear the African American church, as well as the influence of Dvorak, Tchaikovsky, other Romantic composers. The violin concerto starts with a lot of intensity and is compared to violin concertos of Barber and Korngold, as well as the later music of Richard Strauss. Here's a picture of Florence Price later in her life. I am grateful for this rediscovery of Florence Price's music and interested to hear more works by her. Kusevitsky did not give Price and her music a chance. Colorado Music Festival is, and I urge you to as well. Now, performing Price's concerto along with the Chanson is violinist Randall Goosby, exciting young violinist. And he says, for me, personally, music has been a way to inspire others. He is acclaimed for sensitivity, intensity, virtuosity, musicianship, alongside his determination to make music more inclusive and accessible. Randall Goosby was the youngest concerto winner from the Sphinx organization. And the Sphinx organization started about 25 years ago in Detroit with the vision and mission: we transform lives through the power of diversity in the arts. Now, about 25 years ago, I had a friend who performed with the Sphinx Orchestra, and I had a life-changing conversation when he returned. He told me he knows what it's like for me to play in an orchestra. And I'm like, what, as a violist? And he's like, no. When I looked around, everyone looked like me. Everyone had brown skin. And this comment stayed with me, has stayed with me, and it really is still in my mind and heart and eyes as I see the orchestras I conduct, as I see the orchestras I'm part of, and as I see the orchestras on stage. And I'm hoping and working for a time when the orchestra will include and represent the world we are part of. So check out the Sphinx organization. They've done amazing work in the past 25 years, and my friend may have been what was the inaugural concert. Don't know. I want to hear a little bit about what Randall has to say about this work. I have a segment from Amplify by Lara Downs.
A large part of my inspiration behind this project was, if I have catching up to do about this music, imagine what, the greater majority of the field, how much work we really have to do. And I think with each passing day and each passing week and month, especially over this past year in 2020, you could almost see this wave of reckoning, like you were saying, and just people starting to realize, I say starting, only starting to realize really the magnitude of the body of work that we've just not paid any attention to.
The real thing here is to redefine what is the music that is fed to us, that nurtures us throughout our journey.
I mean, that's a huge realization for so many people, even in the last year, the idea that this canon is really so incredibly exclusive, and I think makes the art form as a whole that much less sort of accessible and inviting for people from so many different walks of life and so many different backgrounds. So I think, for me, one of my passions has been really doing everything I can and taking every opportunity I can to connect with communities that aren't necessarily a part of the classical music world, and just invite them in and show them that, this is an art form that is beautiful, and for me personally has brought so much joy and so many meaningful moments and people into my life.
There's more of that interview. I totally encourage you to check it out. Now, I also want you to check out Randall Goosby's website, where you can find out about his CD. And there's also this beautiful recording with Xavier Foley, double bass, performing one of Foley's works. And Xavier Foley will be in Boulder with the Boulder Philharmonic at Mackey this fall, so keep an eye on that. Well, I'm super excited. So this is Randall Goosby again with his beautiful violin, which is on loan from the Stradivari Society. It's the Giuseppe Guarneri del Gesù. Beautiful violin. And I just like this picture. I thought you might too, with a tree for Chautauqua. I like this picture too. Photo shoot in New York City. Dogs. It's awesome. Well, so this is the concert. Thursday is the first one, 7:30. Second one, Friday at 6:30. I'm a longtime Colorado Music Festival fan, back from the days when I was a student in Giora Bernstein's orchestra at the University of Colorado. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this concert, or really any concert, because I'm a huge fan and I will be at just about every concert. So please come up and say hi. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and enjoy.